Have you ever been surrounded in your life by problems and you don't know where to turn, what to do? When you look to the right, there is problem. When you look to the left, there is problem. When you look forward, there is problem. When you look behind you, there is problem. You feel like a besieged city. You're overwhelmed, you don't know what to do. You cry out to God, you don't know what to do. You feel hopeless and you feel helpless. Well, here in Psalms chapter 46, the city of David was surrounded by an enemy. They were besieged, they were threatened, and they were hopeless and helpless. Good morning, saints, and welcome to the Dixon's Devotion with Pastor Dixon. Today we are going to be looking at Psalm chapter 46. This psalm was written to the chief musicians of the sons of Korah, and it said it was to be sung in Almath. Now, no one exactly know what is Almath. All we know, Almath means virgin. It is believed that Almath was division of the choir or the sopranos. In those days, the choir was divided by bass, tenor, soprano, and alto. The sopranos were usually comprised of young virgins, and that's why it was called Almath, sung in Almath. Back then, they used to sing in chorus, or they used to like echo. One area sing maybe the bass, then the tenor echo, then the soprano echo, and the alto echo, and so on. But here, this song was written in Almath, the song of virgins. Only the ladies were to be singing this song. No one knows who wrote the psalm exactly, and no one knows when it was written. It seems as though the psalm was written during a time when Israel was surrounded by enemies. They were besieged. And most commentators set this time around or during the time of Hezekiah, when Assyria surrounded Israel under the leadership of Sennacherib. And remember, during that time when Sennacherib sent his general down and they besieged the city was surrounded, and they had the people on the wall looking around, and Sennacherib general started to taunt the children of Israel, start to taunt them and weaken their resolve. And Isaiah the prophet sought the Lord, and he came back and he reported to Hezekiah. King Hezekiah also prayed to the Lord, and Isaiah delivered the message. And we know at the end what happened to the Assyrian troop. Because of a battle, they had to go back and fight that battle, and in that battle they killed one another, and also Sennacherib was killed, and thus ended the siege of Jerusalem during that time. So this is the circumstances where this psalm is written. But as I said, no one knows for certain exactly when the psalm was written, but the most ideal time, as most commentators said, was during the time of Israel besieged by Assyria under the leadership of Sennacherib. To see references to the events surrounding the invasion by Sennacherib of Israel under King Hezekiah, you can turn to 2 Kings chapter 19 or Isaiah chapter 36 and 37. But before we go any further, please remember to subscribe, like, leave a comment, and tell a friend about our YouTube channel. Now let us get into the word. This psalm is divided into 3 sections. We can see it in verse 3, verse 7, and verse 11, where all of them end with Selah. And of course we know Selah means to stop, think and meditate upon. So the first section from verse 1 to verse 3 speak of the confidence in God, and from verse 4 to verse 7 speaks of the presence of God, and from verse 8 to verse 11 speaks of the power of God. So let us go now to verse 1 to verse 3, confidence in God. The psalmist starts, God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountain be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountain shake with the swelling thereof. So right here in these verses, whoever wrote this psalm, they are displaying strong confidence in God. One, He is their strength, and He is their strength and their present help in trouble. Therefore, they will not fear, because they have confidence in their God, even though they were surrounded. And they said, even though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, they will not fear. The waters thereof roar and be troubled. Trouble is like a roar, the water that is angry and stirred up and turned up. They will not fear. And though the mountain shake with the swelling thereof, they will not fear, because they have strength in God. And so it is when we feel like we're surrounded, we cannot go to the right, we cannot go to the left. Every time we look, it's problems, we don't know what to do. Remember, God is your strength and a very present help in trouble. He is not only your strength, but He is present. And this is where verse 4 to verse 7 coming. There is a river, the stream whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered His voice, the earth melt. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. So we see right here the presence of God. We see confidence in God from verse 1 to verse 3. Now we see the presence of God. There is a river, a stream whereof shall make glad the city of God. What he's saying, there's a river that flows to the city of God. And this river is described as the presence of God, ever flowing, ever present. And he said, the holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High, it represents the holy tabernacle of the Most High that dwelled there in the city of Jerusalem. Represents the presence, the Shekinah glory of God when they had the tabernacle during this time. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be removed. In other words, he said God is in the midst of the city. The city shall not be removed, even though we feel like we're surrounded. Israel will not be removed, even though you feel like you're surrounded with all kind of problems. You shall not be removed. God shall help her, which is the city of Jerusalem, at that right early. In other words, right early, God will help the city. God was present when Sennacherib came to intimidate and taunt the children of Israel. When Assyria had the city surrounded, God was right there. The people were weeping, they were dismayed. When you read Isaiah account, they were dismayed. But yet, the author of the psalm was saying, hey, do not be shaken, do not be moved. God is with us, and He is going to deliver us as soon as possible, quite early. And we know what happened to the Assyrian army. They were distracted and dragged away by another war, and eventually they were killed. So we see that from verse 4 to verse 7, where verse 7 said, the Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. So God is with them and he is their refuge. From verse 8 now to verse 11, describe God's power. Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolations he has made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow, he cutteth the spear asunder, he burneth the chariots in fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen, and I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Hear what the psalmist is saying from verse 8. Come, behold the works of the Lord, the power of God. What desolation he has made in the earth. How he dissolved things in the earth. When there is war, God have the power to cause war to cease. When people threaten you, God have the power to cease war. How he break the bow. When they come to attack you, God will break the bow. He will cut the spear asunder and he will burn their chariots of fire. When people start to make war with you and they start to try to shoot you with the arrows and burn your chariots and try to destroy what you have verbally, God know how to break it, God know how to bend it, and God know how to destroy that. And he said, be still in your war, in your battle. When you feel surrounded, you don't know what to do, just be still and know that I am God. The same thing that David repeated when Pharaoh army were behind him, chasing him, and they were trapped by the Red Sea, and they were between two mountains. They couldn't go right, they couldn't go left, they couldn't go to the back because Pharaoh was right there, two huge mountains to the side, so they couldn't go right nor left, and in front of them were the Red Sea, and they couldn't go forward. And the Bible said, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. That's what Moses told the children of Israel. And he stretched out his sword, and the Red Sea was parted. They went through. Pharaoh's army tried to get through, and they were destroyed. God destroyed them. And so it is right here. Without the children of Israel had to fight draw a sword or fight a battle, God destroyed them, and they saw the power of God. And so it was with Sennacherib. God told the children of Israel to Isaiah, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And when Sennacherib came and they taunt and they were ready to destroy the city, God pulled them away, dragged them into another battle, and killed the army and also Sennacherib. So God is saying, stand still and see. Even though you're surrounded by all these problems in your life, stand still and you will see the salvation of the Lord. And he said, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen, and I will be exalted in the earth. Though all these people, the enemies, try to attack you, God will be exalted in all of this. He will get the praise, he will get the honor, even among the earth, even in your life, your testimony. God will get your praise, and you will be a living testimony to others. And out of that, God will get the praise wherever you go. And it end, the Lord is of hosts is with us, the presence of God. The God of Jacob is our refuge. He is our strength. Selah. Stop and meditate. God of hosts is with you during your struggles and your problem. God of Jacob is your refuge. Lead to him. Lean to him. Put your trust in him. No matter what people might say, no matter what news you might get, even what you get from the doctors, anybody around you, family, friend, husband, wife, children, trust God. No matter what the situation, God of hosts is with you, and God of Jacob is your refuge. Saints, have a wonderful day, and may the Lord's blessings be with you.